In the 48 hours following the audacious U.S. military capture of Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro, Donald Trump has unleashed a blizzard of warnings targeting 5 nations across 3 continents, signaling a dramatic shift toward unilateral American confrontationalism that extends far beyond Caracas. The Venezuela operation itself set the tone. A midnight raid, penetrating Venezuelan air defenses, extracting Maduro from his compound and depositing him in Brooklyn to face federal drug trafficking and narco-terrorism charges. But rather than pause to consolidate this victory, Trump has accelerated into what amounts to a declaration of American hemispheric dominance, paired with warnings to strategic rivals. Against Colombia, Trump leveled crude accusations at President Gustavo Petro, calling him a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and ominously declaring he's not going to be doing it for very long. When asked whether his administration could launch a military operation targeting Colombia, Trump replied flatly, "It sounds good to me." The threat is barely veiled, rather a clear signal that Washington views drug trafficking nations as potential targets for direct American intervention. On Greenland, Trump resurrected his ambition to acquire the Danish territory, claiming it was strategically essential to contain Russian and Chinese naval presence in the Arctic. When Denmark's Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen flatly rejected the idea, Trump doubled down, insisting Europe secretly supports American control and that Denmark is not going to be able to do it. The message is unambiguous. American security interests supersede Nordic sovereignty. Venezuela itself remains under threat of further action. Trump warned interim President Delcy Rodriguez that she could pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro, if she resists U.S. demands. Most strikingly, when asked who now controls Venezuela, Trump replied with stunning directness, "We're in charge." Cuba faces indirect pressure, the implicit threat that if the government does not collapse on its own, American intervention may follow. Trump suggested military action may not be necessary because Cuba looks like it's going down, having lost its primary revenue source after Venezuela's crisis. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was more explicit, calling the Cuban government a huge problem and warning they are in a lot of trouble. Iran received a more measured but firm warning. If authorities continue killing protesters, I think they're going to get hit very hard by the United States, Trump said, though he declined to specify the nature of such retaliation. This pattern reveals a doctrine of American exceptionalism, unconstrained by traditional diplomatic niceties. Attack on Venezuela and capturing Maduro has emboldened Trump to project power across the Western Hemisphere and beyond, threatening territorial acquisition, military intervention, regime change, and economic coercion in rapid succession. Whether this represents a sustainable geopolitical strategy or a dangerous escalation remains the defining question facing the international order in 2026.